All right, team. Today we are talking about something extremely important, something extremely powerful. And I just want to share my journey of advocating on the behalf of the people of my city, not just myself, for Colorado Springs to be included in the Michelin standard, to be judged, to be ranked, to be inspected. That's huge. And I will share a few years ago when Colorado made the decision to pursue Michelin as an accolade here in the state, my city wasn't included. And there's a lot of decisions of why, and I understand that, and I've supported that. I think, it was a big financial cost to the city and it wasn't budgeted. And as someone who runs businesses, if it's not budgeted and we don't have that type of funding as much as we want it, we don't need it. And we had other things lined up, like the senior PGA. This was a big, big thing that we had lined up for the city. So I understood the thought process and the reason, but it's grown. And we've watched amazing stories come out of it. We've watched Wolf Taylor earn 2 stars. We've watched so many more restaurants gain the accolade. And as a chef, it's every chef's dream. As someone who's a culinarian who follows this with a passion, to be ranked as a Michelin chef, it does mean a lot. It's, as they say, it's to dance with the gods. And I think that's pretty cool. But from a business perspective, here's my feelings on this. This is something that if there is the opportunity to earn one, not saying that I'm ready, not saying that my team's ready, not saying that any restaurant in the city is ready, the opportunity to earn one is extremely powerful. Because here's what it does. One, it elevates everyone because now you can be inspected. You could be the next Michelin star. You have no idea, and that's exciting. That's a huge win. Two, it will attract a higher level of restaurateur to our market because the potential is there to earn one. And when you look at our market as far as square footage and price downtown, the cost of opening a business is actually very affordable compared to other markets that have that accolade. So it's huge to say, you know what, I could open up shop in Colorado Springs and I could earn a Michelin star. And then when you look at the demographic, that's where it makes sense. We have a 5-star, 5-diamond property here, like the Broadmoor, and all of us are constantly trying to elevate to that level of prestigiousness. And we're chasing that to say, you know what? This town, and we're saying, you know what? This town is so much more than just meat and potatoes. This town is so much more than just military. This town is so much more than just chain restaurants. I was told years ago when I started getting on national platforms like Top Chef that I was becoming an economic stimulus. People were traveling to Colorado Springs to meet me, to cook with me, to eat my food because they saw me on such a national platform. And I didn't understand the magnitude of that until I really started to pay attention to tourism. And as I've watched my city grow and I've watched other restaurateurs from other markets come in, I've watched chefs who are in my market elevate up and open businesses and push boundaries. This isn't out the question. This is exciting. This is something that really sets the tone for the future of our industry, for the future generation of chef. To say that we helped bring Michelin to Colorado Springs is a wow factor. Like that is a huge, huge achievement. So I'm very excited that we're having these discussions about, hey, Colorado Springs should be included. Colorado Springs could be included. This is what it looks like. So here's where we're at. We're going to host a town meeting. We're going to get all the restaurateurs in town to talk about this because I want to hear your side. I want to hear your side of what does it mean to you? Does it mean anything, right? If you don't really have the value of chasing a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star type status, what does Michelin mean to you? How does it impact you? Right? Because I don't think people realize the diversity of Michelin and the brand of Michelin. When we talk about Bib Gourmands, we talk about the green certifications, we talk about the 1-star program, the 2-star program, the 3-star program. Essentially, it's a connection to a brand that's recognized on an international level at a very high, prestigious perspective. That's the trick, in my opinion. When I'm looking at this, I want to attach to higher brands. I want higher brands to support my brand and back my brand as a product. And when we get people coming to the city and they look at Michelin and they say, oh, this is Michelin recommended, this is a Michelin star restaurant, this is a Michelin initiative program, there's credibility there. So very exciting. I can't wait to see what happens. And I think, it's not about being focused on, it's about being seen and being heard. And I love that we're talking about this as a standard. I love that we're pushing this to the next level. I can't wait to see what happens. I think possibility is everything. When I moved here 20 years ago, people told me my food wouldn't work here. They said, you can't cook that kind of food in Colorado Springs. It doesn't work. Well, here we are 20 years later with James Beard nominations, New York Times recommendations. Like we've changed that narrative. Why not keep pushing? Why not keep changing the culture of where you live to say, you know what? We are good enough. We have amazing stories. We're telling amazing stories. Because to me, that's the definition of what Michelin is. You have to think about it of the basics, right? It started as a program, a book to say, you bought these amazing Michelin tires. Here's a book of where we recommend using them. I want you to go to these places. This star is worth the journey. This is an experience in itself, 3 stars. So are you worth a star? Are you worth a journey? I think so. I think when you're telling powerful stories and you're connecting dots and you're representing people and region and you're backing that up with service, you're backing that up with quality, you're backing that up with connection, you become your own identity. And I had to tell my team this today. We're not trying to chase a Michelin standard. We're not trying to imitate other restaurants. We need to stay true to who we are. If you want to receive that kind of accolade, you need to stay true to who you are. You need to tell your story. You need to be intentional with your story. And it has to make sense. It has to be real. It can't be forced. It can't be generic. You've got to tell a story. My Restaurant 4, we tell the story of the 4 corners. This is a story of a region. This is a story of a connection. It's a love poem between the mountains and the desert, and it's a dependency of water. And as the water melts at the top of the peaks, and it fills our streams, and it fills our waters, our reservoirs, our lakes, life follows it. Cycle follows it. Nature follows it. And then eventually it dries out. And I would have never put that together had I not gone to Japan and spent time in kaiseki cuisine, learning and appreciating the nature connection, because it made me come back to where I live and say, what's so special about where do I live? And I don't live, when we talk about Southwestern food, we only talk about Arizona and New Mexico. We talk about the low desert. And we don't really have an identity for the mountains. We don't have an identity for Colorado and Utah. We just say the Rockies. Even James Beard changed our classification of nomination because we weren't Southwest. So I like that we're actually redefining what Southwestern is, because it is a connection to the region of the mountains and the desert. And we tell that story of people, the people of the tribes, the indigenous tribes that started here, that built this land, that lived off this land, that connected to this land. We tell the story of Spanish conquest and religion and trade and agriculture. We tell the story of the European who pioneered West. We talk about the story of slaves who came for freedom. All of these things created today's Four Corner, and that's what my restaurant represents. That is a story that, if told right, connected right, trained right, inspired properly, is Michelin worthy. So the potential's there. It's exciting. I can't wait to see what happens. I love that we fought for this conversation. We fought on behalf of every restaurant, cook, chef of the future of our city to get included in this conversation, to bring us to the table. We're now at the table, y'all. So let's see what happens. I'm going to be reaching out to some of these restaurant owners here in town. I want to create this town hall. You need to be heard too. I think it's one thing for me to speak on your behalf. It's another thing for you all to say it yourselves. And also know that if they're going to include us as a possibility, get ready. It's coming. It's inevitable. It's coming. So whether you're ready or not, you're on the table. And I think there's something extremely exciting about that. So, all right, that's my pre-shift for today. My phone's blowing up. I'm going to get back to it. But welcome to the restaurant pre-shift with Chef Brother Luck. So excited to share that with y'all. I will see you on the next round. Peace.